What's up? Today we're going to talk about how to frame square photos, especially the ones of Polaroid cameras. Now I've got the Fujifilm Instax Polaroid Taylor Swift edition right here. This one is from I think 2017 and worth a lot right now, even used on eBay. But this of course also works with any other Polaroid camera that takes square photos, or even digital cameras. If you want to shoot square photos on your digital camera, it of course also works with that, even though it's not that useful anymore, because even Instagram switched from the square format, which is very sad, and I'm very mad about it. But anyways, this video will be focused on square photos. Now the first tip if you want to frame photos with a Polaroid camera like this is ditch the viewfinder, because it will not help you frame your photos, not even only the square photos. Even if you have a Polaroid camera like this that takes vertical photos, the viewfinder on this one is not worth it. On a DSLR, you're using a mirror to directly look through the lens, through your sensor. You're seeing what your sensor is seeing. Same on mirrorless cameras, you're also looking on a display that sees exactly what the camera is seeing. Not on this one, because this viewfinder does not look through this lens. No, you're just looking directly through here, which means if you're framing something right here, by looking through here, all of your photos will be off. So don't rely on your viewfinder. If you have your camera on like this, look at where your camera is pointing. I always rather just take it in two hands like this, point it at what I want to shoot, and then once I have found my image, I look at the line of sight if it is pointed directly on my subject, and then I hit the shutter button. So what are some tips for framing square photos? Whereas on a 16:9 or 4:3 image, like a vertical or horizontal image, people always look for the rule of thirds. So basically right here and right here, you have two lines, and you always place your subject or object on the corner points of this or on the lines to have a good composition. You can of course still do that on square photos, and most often it will look really good. However, if you're shooting square photos, consider using symmetry. Now, because a square is a mathematically really symmetrical shape, it also looks very good to frame your photos for symmetry. Here I have a few example clips of photos with a subject or an island or a cat in the middle, which of course is utilizing symmetry and putting your subject in the center. You can of course also take photos that are not symmetrical, but putting your subject in the center of the image will also still look really good, even though it's not symmetrical. But having your subject or object or island, whatever, in the center of the frame and still on top have a symmetrical image will look really, really good. Now, speaking of putting stuff in the center or not, another really important part for square photos is negative space. You can really achieve some beautiful, stunning square images if you're framing with a lot of negative space in mind. This can be everything from the obvious big sky that is taking up your space in the image, or a white wall, a street, or something else. And the last tip I have for you is keep your photos, especially your square Polaroids, clean and tidy. Having a lot of stuff in the frame can sometimes be good, but especially in clean square Polaroid photos, having a clean and tidy environment, just focusing on the one thing that you want to take a picture of, keeping in mind the negative space, and then framing it in the center will give you perfect results for square photos. That's it from this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button, and also consider subscribing if you found some of these tips helpful, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Goodbye.